Yay! Aloha! And welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. Oh, I'm so happy to be with you guys. I'm coming to you from Sedona, Arizona today. Um, Yes, there's been a change of events for me. My roommate moved out. I came here and I was staying with such a sweetie for the past 7 weeks. What an adventure! Oh my goodness. And he just took off yesterday, so I have 3 more weeks in his place, just kind of like making my own little cave, and I'm just so stoked about that. I love how things just keep on changing in the outer world. Kind of keeps me on my toes, you know. Uh, Things don't get stagnant very easily. Don't get in any kind of steady routines for very long, that's for sure. So we had an amazing 7 weeks together. Of course, it was just all guided by spirit. He told me I can come to Sedona. This would be a good time for me to come to Sedona. He told me I can have the apartment originally, that he would just be back and forth with his partner and stuff like that. Turned out he ended up spending the whole 7 weeks with me in this one bedroom apartment. And yeah, there were instances where I was like, what the fuck have I got myself into? I'm used to having more of a cave kind of space. Even when I lived in Hawaii back there with my husband, I'm just used to having more of a cave kind of space. And now there's two people in this space, and two people who seem to live very differently too, as far as like how much stuff is on the counters and stuff like that. I definitely have a lot of stuff on the counter in the bathroom. That's that's where I do it a lot. Um, but just sinking into the truth behind all appearances, and the truth behind all appearances is that there's only one of us. There's only this union. There's one heart, one mind that we share. So, uh, being certain about that, and also blessing the perception, whatever it seems to be. Okay, this perception, whatever it is the means to more unfolding. And what I found was a really sweet, deep connection. Lots of studying. We were studying every day. Um, First thing in the morning, we're studying, and we're basically reading. I think we were just the whole time reading A Course in Love. We are reading out of A Course in Love, but taking it really slow and looking at the meaning behind things, and seeing how we can bring everything to the truth and not let anything be an obstacle. So basically, an obstacle is an obstacle to peace. That's the only kind of obstacle there is. It's an obstacle to peace. So, an obstacle is not a problem. That's not the same thing as a problem. An obstacle to peace, you're just noticing there's something that's occupying your mind that's disturbing your peace. It's never the circumstance. You cannot blame it on the circumstance. And, that was one thing that I demonstrated to my mind here, where I'm sleeping, in the room where I'm sleeping, it has a desk where my host slash roommate works at the desk. And the desk is not very tidy. Okay, so bed's right next to that, right? So one morning, maybe like the second or third morning, I woke up and I go, I see these thoughts just swirling in my mind. I can't do this. I can't sleep next to something like this. This is going to disturb my energy and all kinds of things like this. And I just smiled at it. I just go, is that really true? Am I really that vulnerable that I would be disturbed by my sleeping would be disturbed by clutter on a desk? I don't think so. I don't think so. So, anyways, it was funny because I ended up getting a lot of sleep, just noticeably more sleep since I've been here. So that was just an interesting observation because I'm like, that can't be a thing. There's no way that something like that could keep me up. And then I just experience more sleep than I normally do. And I'm not looking for that outcome. What I'm looking for is my way back to peace in the moment, because basically these thoughts that arise and say something is wrong, those are the obstacles to peace. The feeling of discomfort, that's not an obstacle to peace. That's just for experiencing. That's just for embracing. The thoughts about the situation, those are obstacles to peace. And that means they're not problems. They're just to be recognized as being obstacles. That's what they are. So when you notice that those are just obstacles, they can be embraced. There's different kinds of obstacles too. There's obstacles like worldly obstacles. Let's say clutter on the desk. Okay, that's easier to embrace than a thought that says uh, he's a horrible unconscious person because he doesn't have a tidy desk, let's say. In that case, it actually takes recognizing that that thought is not personal. It's about yourself. There's something that you are judging about yourself, and you don't want to see that you're judging yourself about it, so you project it out to someone else. So when you recognize that, then you get the person out of the equation. So here are some of the things. Thomas wrote me a really long review about the 7 weeks. We didn't realize this was going to happen, but early on, maybe about week 2 or 3 or so, I told him this is something I actually offer is a transformational bridging. And he said, okay, well, I want to do it. I'm in. Yeah, I'm totally in. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Let's do it. So we had a 7 week of basically Hope Johnson live-in transformation. So he wrote a review and he listed out the points really clearly. I'll just go over them a little bit for you. So he said, I'm not taking things personal anymore. The world has receded. Situation and people don't rattle him in the same way. Instead of reacting, he's resting more, so he can relate with God. Okay, so uh, he's sharing how he has had transformation through our relating, and that's what relating is for. It's what relating is for. So he's saying, and also he's saying lack is no longer a real concept. He's talking about a radical shift in how he perceives not having enough. He's expanded from frugality to deliciousness, from dry to juicy. That's what he said. There is a lot of that, just juiciness in the experience. It's like as we're in relationship with everything, there's no reason why it can't be sensual, like everything being sensual. So some things were changed, like just like eating dry foods to eating foods that have more moisture and fats too. That's another thing. That was fun. Let's see. I got all these tabs open right now. Reputation. So early on, when I did my first wisdom dialogues here, he had a strong reaction to me bringing something up that he was trying to cover some guilt. So this mask fell away, this mask of reputation, striving for others to think a certain way about us. Okay. And then recognizing that all that matters is the relationship with God. So he's saying his sexuality has been redefined. It's about loving, ecstatic connection. It's not roles, it's not form, it's not trying to get anything out of bodies. Guilt not running his life anymore. Discipline and integrity got reclaimed. Well, discipline and integrity, they don't really, uh, they're not really needed after a certain point. Like you can think of integrity like this, integrity of spirit. And integrity of spirit is recognizing two things. One is unity of all. There's only one of us. Two is the form is perfect to serve the awakening. Okay. And then in that way, you're in integrity with spirit. It doesn't have to do with worldly things. That's something that gets worked on for a little while. That's something that has to be worked on for a little while a lot of the times, because there's this idea that we need to discipline ourselves and live in integrity in a form. But we only need to be in integrity with love. The form takes care of itself. He's saying his health has become sacred. Instead of being, here's what I see what people are doing with health. It's like running around with these concepts that say, here's what you're supposed to do for health. Here's how you be a good boy or girl, right? So, now he's not having Diet Coke. Apparently, Diet Coke is conventionally a good thing to drink. He also got rid of the Pam spray. You guys might know from the 80s. He says that was pretty brutal. And he also said goodbye to Cliff Bars. Okay, so now he loves ghee and high fat and whole milk and heavy cream. Yeah, and also compression therapy. That's another one. And we had real non-dual conversations, deep recognizing of the self that we all share. And, for me, I feel that the way it gets the way we get the most transformation is just by being what I'm talking about. That's how we get the most transformation. We don't have to try to do anything. So it wasn't like, okay, all of a sudden I have a job because, I'm going, oh, well, I do, I offer transformational bridging. It's one of the services that I offer on my website. When I do that, I'm not having a job. I'm basically just being myself around you. Like in your house, in your life, in whatever struggles you seem to be going through, and over weeks and over time, not only does it just transfer. I call it transformational bridging, because from witnessing someone who's doing it, who's living like this, and who's been seeing like this for a long time, you can allow yourself to jump in. That's what I noticed. It's like, oh, she's been doing it for a long time. At first my host was like, I can't eat all that fat. And then when I told him I've been doing that for 20 years, then he felt like way more comfortable. he's he's like, oh, you've been doing it for 20 years, and you don't seem to have any problems with it. I'm like, yeah, well, eating Cliff Bars for 20 years might actually not have the, the kind of illusions you're looking for, actually. The spirit can run the dream way better than the ego. And anything that says you have to do something about something, that's the ego. You never have to do anything about anything. One of the best teachings in A Course in Miracles, one of my favorites anyways, is you need do nothing. I keep going back to that one because it really seems like everyone needs to do something. That is certainly all of the reflections I get from people. And, when I talk to people about you don't do anything, they kind of trip out. I had two people last week after I think it was Wisdom Dialogues. No, it wasn't. It was ACIM Deep Diver. We went over a part and I just casually mentioned, because it was relevant to what we were going over, that you do not do anything. You have to see past the idea that you do things at a certain point. And that's a really big one to pass. That's a huge one to pass. People get super defensive about it because they look at it through the eyes of the ego. Like, if I don't do anything, then I won't do anything. It's like you have never done anything is the reality. You have actually never done anything. But when you think you do things, then you also seem to fuck them up. That's how that works. It goes back and forth between pride and shame. That's a word I hear a lot from people. Like, people want to be proud. They want to be proud of themselves. They like to be proud of other people. But it's always just the opposite of shame. There's nothing to be proud about. That's for the ego. Pride is separation. There's nothing to be proud about. I mean, if you were going to be proud, but then it wouldn't probably fit the definition of proud, you would be proud for everyone that they are the truth, that they are perfect innocence. Be proud about that, maybe. But then that would defeat the definition, I think, because there's no comparison. There's nothing to compare it to. He was proud of everyone. Good job. You're the light of the world. I mean, just by having a life experience, by having an experience in the moment, you are fulfilling the plan. You're fulfilling the plan of love already. So it's just where you don't recognize that you're actually fulfilling the plan of love. You think that something else needs to be done, right? Notice when someone's mood gets irritated, and it seems like the ego wants to jump and try to fix something, try to make someone feel better so that you can feel better. Just let people have their space to have their mood and go about your own adventures. Just let them have their mood without making it about you. How about that? And bless all your brothers. You want to view all of your brothers and relate with all of your brothers with brotherly love. Brotherly love. That's where you're not demanding anything of them. You're meeting all of your upset feelings that seem to be about them. It's very, very common when we get amorous feelings toward anyone for us to get the opposite feelings and to pay attention to those feelings and notice what are the thoughts. That's why I could live, like Thomas and I didn't have any fights. My host, Thomas, we didn't have any fights. We just live in peace and harmony because the thoughts that come up that seem to be about the other are not about the other. So it doesn't get to any kind of roll. You don't let things build up about them. Oh, that's their personality or something like that. Let them be new in every moment. You be new in every moment. We want to join together in seeing perfect innocence. That's all we want to do together. We don't need anything from each other to get by in life or anything like that. There is no life except as an effect. Say there's no life in illusions. It's just the effect. Like you are the life. You are the eternal life. And so is your brother. So picture it like this. The illusion that we're perceiving is not outside of our mind. The whole thing, including our body. All the brothers, too. They're all projected from our mind, just so that we could be in relationship with everything and help each other undo the illusion that we're guilty. The only purpose of having time and perceiving in time is so that we can undo that guilty thought and see ourselves in perfect oneness, in perfect innocence. So then every relating becomes different, you know. I don't look at my life the same way people look at a life, you know. It's like I don't have anywhere to really go. I just show up wherever people are welcoming to me. They're welcoming the wisdom I share. They're giving me a place to stay. I just go there. And people ask me, "Are you looking for, a place to stay or, stay longer or anything like that?" I'm like, "No, I don't. I don't need anything. Did you come over here to get some more followers? No, I don't even want any followers." It's just in the moment, whatever the spirit is asking of me, I know that the whole purpose of it, the purpose of me going anywhere and meeting people is for awakening the mind. I don't have to do anything special though. Like I'm not trying to do anything. I'm just being wherever I'm being with the perspective that I have, right? With the awareness that we're one, with the awareness that everything I perceive is coming from me, it's in my field. So last night, oh, by the way, I took up smoking again. I don't know if I told you guys, but for the 3 months I was in Mexico, I wasn't smoking at all. Um, in case you don't know, I still smoke spliffs. That's weed and tobacco together. Some people say ganja and tobacco. Um, and so when I was in Mexico, I didn't do any smoking at all. It just wasn't like it wasn't guided. I mean, I guess you could say that. It just wasn't guided. I know when things are guided. So then I get back over here and I'm over here in Sedona and then I'm out one night and Thomas goes, "Do you want to stop by the store? I want to get some cigarettes." And I was like, "Oh, okay." So then he smokes one and then "You want to smoke?" And I was like, "Ah, I'll take a little bit. I don't really like it like that. I like it better with weed in it." "Oh, well, let's get you some weed in it." So it just kind of like unfolds like that. The next thing you know, I got spliffs going again. So anyways, that was a whole lead up to I go out there's a smoking table here. And I love that. I'm in an apartment complex. It's kind of like a little tribe around here. It's really cute. There's a smoking table. It's got a little tiny thing in the middle. It's got like a little barbecue looking thing in there. Weed is totally legal here in Arizona. And I go out there and last night I get I have two friends out there. Well, one of the friends is talking about some heavy stuff. It was like some heavy energies going through. He sees this spiritual warfare and apparently is experiencing being attacked by demons. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, this is an interesting perception I'm having. And I'm like, I just like check in. I was like, show me how to be helpful here, you know? It's like, this is like all the way to the point of not taking any responsibility for the perception at all, just totally believing, holy shit, there's a war. I'm on the side of the one that's right, you know? So I find myself sharing with him. I go, I can tell you just have a very gentle and kind heart. And he's like, I do, you know? And I told him, and I'm sure love can overcome anything that comes your way. And I saw him like visibly calm down, just kind of like, because there's this energy like, you don't know my life, and it's so fucked up, and this kind of stuff. And I saw him visibly just, it's like, oh, he can relate with that. That love overcomes all fearful things. There's no reason to um, make the things bigger than the love that you are. Love totally overcomes anything. It doesn't matter what it is. Apparently there's ideas that there's portals out here and there's demons out here and they come into your place at night. But then, he also told me that there's demons over in Pahoa, where I came from. And there's I never experienced anything like that. It was just always really sweet. It was always really sweet people everywhere. But, I don't have tolerance for demons. What I mean by that is I don't think of anything that I perceive as ever being separate from me. So if a demon arises, that's the same thing. It's just about embracing it with love. And you could say that someone who's in a negative mindset and getting really agitative, you could say that's demonic energy right there. And that's really all that a demon is. It's just like that kind of demonic kind of thinking all wrapped up. But everyone at their core is a perfectly loving, sinless being. So it wouldn't matter if they're embodied or not. When you stay in the awareness that it's all unity, it's all coming from you, and also the awareness that the perception, whatever's arising, be it demons or whatever, is 100% helpful, then nothing's a problem. And, this is what A Course in Miracles talks about with invulnerability. You're not vulnerable to illusions. All things that you perceive, those are illusions. Your experience of the illusion is informative. That informs your mind. The way you experience the illusion informs your mind. If you're having a perception of fear, a fearful perception, and you embrace that fearful feeling, noticing that the thoughts themselves are not one bit true, then you're back to love. That's how it works. You're just willing to feel the feeling and recognize that the thoughts about this are not true. Let's say it's demons, people go through this. Let's say some kind of demon, some kind of disembodied, whatever, your perception's very real to you. I'm not going to tell you there's not demons, because that's your perception. There's not anything you're perceiving really, but they all seem real to you. So let's say it's demons. So if you believe in demons and you perceive a demon, you can't perceive what you didn't project either. That's the fun thing. You're projecting a demon. You got to laugh at yourself about that one. So let's say it's a demon, and then you get scared of it because you take it to be real. So now you get scared of it. It's as if this thing can hurt you. So the feeling of fear, that's not the obstacle. It's the thought that says that you didn't just project this demon. You got to realize that you have projected. You cannot perceive a single thing, not in the spirit world, not in the material world, that you didn't project. Yay. And that always works. It works in creation too. In creation, it's extension. It's called extension because there's no projecting, because there's no falsehood, there's no guilt. But it still comes from your mind. There's no one else. So let's apply this to heartbreak. Yay. Hooray! Nobody knows about. Something nobody knows about. Yay! Yay! Well, I got to have a recent experience of heartbreak, and I still have little remnants of it running around in my psyche. So this is a really good time to share with you guys. Right? So, gosh, I hadn't experienced anything like that in maybe like 30 some years. It had to be, it been 30 some years where I actually got the experience like there was heartbreak. That's the only way I can really describe it. I think that's what people call it, where you're thinking about the person a lot, and when you think about it, it's kind of good, but it kind of hurts. You got mad thoughts in there, you got sad thoughts in there, you got loving thoughts in there, you got sexy thoughts in there. Anyways, okay. So noticing going through heartbreak, some of the thoughts are saying you're not going to be okay, you're never going to have that kind of connection again. Maybe something like that. It might even be bringing age into the equation. Um, Also, thoughts that want to try to protect you from ever having to go through that again. I'm never going to date this kind of person again. I'm never going to do this again. I'm never going to do this again. Those are ego thoughts. When seen through, you can just simply feel the feeling. Now, heartbreak, the other side of heartbreak is feeling like you're in love, right? So that comes first, where you feel like you're in love. And then the heartbreak part comes because it seems like the love that where your love was landing, that got taken away. So, noticing that love cannot be taken away because it came from you. Sometimes when I say that, people go, "What? What do you mean? That other person came up and they were so fun and they hung out with me and they played with me and then they went and I was so happy and then they went away." Right? Yeah, everything that arises in the dream, remember, is projected. So you project the scenario just so that you can get over to the heartbreak. Because it's the heartbreak that helps you to know the love that you are. So every time, look at this. When you get the sense that you fall in love with someone, you're actually seeing qualities in them that you're not as aware of within yourself. So it seems like they complete you. That's the seeming, right? So then when it doesn't work out, and none of them work out forever, people even seem to die to get out of these things. And when they seem to not work out, it's like that thing that you love so much got taken away. It didn't get taken away. It's still within you. And now with the heartbreak, with the feeling of heartbreak, you could actually use that to recognize more of the love within you. Because what you really want, what you're looking for through all of this stuff is a relationship with the all. Okay, a relationship, you're already in relationship with all, but let's say a harmonious relationship with the all. That's everyone. That's every son of God, you can say. And of course, people always ask me, well, what about monogamous relationships? It doesn't really matter. It's just that you're recognized when you're loving anyone, you're loving all. And, as best you can, hold your relationships with an open hand. They're just coming and going. They're totally just coming and going. Okay. For me, I would say that the heartbreak, the biggest seeming cause of the heartbreak was not breaking up. It was this inconsistency of the going back and forth. And what it showed me was that it was a belief that love is inconsistent, that love itself is inconsistent. And then when I see that, I go, oh, great. I'll sink into that and recognize it by feeling what it feels like to believe that love is inconsistent and not believing in the thoughts that are crossing my mind. So then it's a loving relationship with the person that you seem to be removed from, broken up from, whatever it is like that. And you don't need to be in communication to have that, in physical communication, let's say, to have that together. It's like the self that we are, the boundaryless self that we are. This is how we continue to join with one another to undo the thought of separation, even when we're no longer in communication or temporarily not in communication, whatever the case may be. It's like we're helping each other and helping the entire sonship by allowing the thoughts that arise about each other to be brought to the truth, right? It's like any thoughts arise, like, oh, this person, thought like this person did something to me, this person is this. It's like, no, I only want to see my brother whole. So it's like we're using all of our relationships for demonstrating to our mind that we only want to see wholeness. We don't want to see these fragments anymore. And so that changes the projector. That changes what's being projected. See? I was delighted to have someone studying with me and really getting deep into dialogue together. That's the first time I've had an experience where I live with someone in close relationship where we study every day and engage in dialogue together because we could see so much that way. And every time I saw him have an aha moment, it was like, oh, it sinks in deeper for me. I see why it's so important to have dialogues together. And I also see that there's nothing for me to do about it. It's just going to unfold that way. That's just how it goes. I'm open for that. It's like normally what people talk about is what's known, what the known world, right? Like, a lot of the times when I go out to the smoking table, I hear all kinds of stuff about what aliens are doing and what people in the government are doing. I hear all kinds of stories. Well, people are saying them and they're being projected by me, obviously, because I'm perceiving them. So, I don't hold anything against it. I'm just kind of like, that's interesting. Usually I'll just crack jokes, find places in there to crack jokes here and there. And it's not about rejecting things like that. It's not about rejecting conversation about what's known about the world, which is really empty. You know, it's really empty, but it's the love underneath. It's the love behind everything, which is what we're truly sharing, no matter what the subject matter is of the conversation. Um, so I just stay in recognition of that and let it come through however it comes through, because I don't have, again, anything to do. It's funny. It's like I'm called here and I'm on a ministry, and it's like, what do you do for your ministry? And I'm like, I'm just here. Yeah. Yeah. I'm just here. And oh, what do you do for a living? I'm like, this is it. This is what I do. Yeah, people are really sweet to me. They give me donations to do my living expenses, apparently. Um, so that I can continue to do this, to just be in relationship. Not that you can't be in relationship having a job too, but it's just not the thing for me right now. It's not the thing I'm called to right now. I'm being in relationship. It just chilling. I'm good at chilling too. I don't have to be that busy. Right? It's like, it's not like I don't work, so therefore I'm doing a bunch of shit all day. Right? I noticed that when I came the first 2 weeks when I came here to Sedona, my host said, okay, I want you to spend the first 2 weeks with me, and I want you to do all my shit with me. I'm like, cool, I'm in, you know. I can do that for a couple weeks. I was like, holy shit, this guy's schedule's packed. There's no way I'm doing this longer than 2 weeks. And that's a person that doesn't have a job, but they just filled the whole thing up with all this stuff, right? And it's a lot of spiritual stuff and a lot of taking care, like working out and stuff like that. Um, Here's the thing about the mind, though, and this is what you pick up on when you go any ways down a path of spirituality, is that the spirit wants your mind still. Not going from group to group, reading a fucking book and talking about it all day long, right? It doesn't, the spirit wants your mind still, like just quiet. Like, what about just quiet? You know, it's like the busy mind wants to go in the house, put on some music, and then go in the car and put on some music in there. And then in between, it's like doing all this shit, you know? And for me, I just spend a lot of time without anything. There's no music playing. There's just, there's really a lot to see in the unconscious mind, which is always arising. There's a lot to look at. And that's what Jesus is talking about in the recent ACIM deep dives, about how the problem you guys are having is that you're not being quiet and listening. You're listening to your own thoughts all day long about what you got to do in the world and what that person thought and all this other stuff all day long. Even the spiritual study, observing the thoughts. What Jesus was really clear about, you guys are not observing your unconscious mind. You're keeping yourself busy. You're keeping yourself too busy and too occupied to even observe the unconscious mind. So one thing I brought over here to my host is block therapy, right? I always love block therapy. I do not get paid by block therapy. I just love it. As I've seen it help people who are having a busy mind and a busy kind of day, to just chill out and pay attention to releasing fascia. And, he got into it. He's like, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do that for at least an hour every day, because, he can feel it. You can feel the benefits of it. Right. And someone asked me the other day about that too. Like, why am I going to compress the fascia in the body if the pain isn't even real, the adhesions aren't even real, and all that other stuff? Well, here's the thing about the body is kind of like a reservoir that you made, where you put all of your attack thoughts that you're holding up right now in the moment. And you can feel the effects of that right now. And when you're noticing and you're using that tool like that and recognizing, oh, this is what I'm holding up right now, and you're putting the pressure on it and you're breathing with it, you're actually demonstrating to your mind that you don't need that thought that's propping up that pain right now that you got a block on. It's all illusory, but it feels very real to you. And what I notice people doing when they um, try to just ignore their health. And that's very common for people who are non-duality and A Course in Miracles people, to ignore their health. Jesus never said anything about ignoring it, right? He is saying to leave it to the Spirit. Let the Spirit be the guide. You know, it's like with block therapy, I've got a schedule, you could say Virgo energy if you wanted to do it that way. Virgo energy, right? I've got these lists of block therapy videos that I want to get to, and I cycle them around. But when it comes to let's say the apparent decision whether I'm going to do block therapy or not, that's always in the moment. I'm checking in with my feeling. You know what I mean by my feeling? It's a feeling of oneness. It's a feeling of unity. It's a feeling of innocence, of being completely taken care of. I check in with that feeling, and I'll know what to do because my intention and my direction, you could say my focus, is staying in that feeling of union, of oneness. So I don't do anything on my own. When I was having a conversation with a friend about not doing anything, he heard me say it last week on Wednesday, and he said, I just don't agree with that. You know what I did when I heard that? I went and took care of something that I needed to take care of. I didn't agree with that, and I went and I took care of something that I needed to take care of. And the thing that is not easily grasped is even that decision to take care of the thing that you need to take care of is program. It's a program thought. It's playing out on its own. You know what's not a program thought? When you recognize that it's a program. But there's this resistance to it, and it's funny. It's amazing because there's like repeating it over and over again in A Course in Love and A Course in Miracles that you never have done anything. And last week on Wednesday, I got two people, both dudes, which is pretty funny, going, I disagree with you. We have to make choices here. So many times in A Course in Miracles, it's like Jesus is trying to get you to see that you only have the choice between truth and illusion. He's saying you could take all those roads. It doesn't matter what roads you go, all these decisions. They're totally meaningless. Why would you fight for them? Anyways, my friend ended up coming around the next day, just kind of like letting him see it on its own. Letting him just see it, see it for himself. It's funny because when some of these concepts, for me, when some of these concepts trigger people. I'm like, what? How could that possibly trigger for you? It says here, 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 here. Like, pretty much everything you fucking read in that thing you've been studying for decades says the same fucking thing. All I'm doing is applying it to something practical in your life. That's the thing. If it doesn't get real life application, it's not doing anything. None of your study is doing anything. You guys on Zoom, feel free to raise your hand if you want to ask me any questions or just type in the chat. I got you. I also take Q&A if you want to use Q&A. I love you. So anyways, I found myself getting frustrated for a moment because I was just kind of like, what the fuck? And then underneath that, I was like, holy shit, there's a sense of loneliness. It's robust. There's this sense of loneliness, like no one fucking gets it. And you know what's funny? That's also projected. And that's something that I've been doing since I was a kid. That's how that's how it seemed with my parents. Like felt lonely, like what is wrong with these people? They don't get it. Right? So, remembering perception is projection. So then we don't have to wallow in loneliness, right? It's not lonely because we've never left God. Of course, it seems lonely because it's all these mirrors of an unconscious mind that's getting purified by looking at it this way, by engaging in this dialogue here with me. See? As we recognize over time again and again and again, so it gives us the time, gives us these cycles so they can keep rolling around. So we could see these things more and more and recognize that we're not subject to any of these illusions that are arising in our experience. There's nothing that needs to uh, make us lose our connection with peace, with perfect peace. And it's really simple. It's just noticing, okay, I'm in relationship with everything in the field. I'm in relationship with everything in the field. And I'm also in relationship with union. So when I remember that that's the case, everything is peaceful. When I forget, there's a sense, like I say, a sense of frustration. That's always for me a celebration. I'm seeing something. I'm seeing where I'm hooked. And I can get unhooked that way. See, I'm not something that needs to be purified. I don't need to get better or anything like that. Neither are you. You're created perfect. What needs to be seen is that what you made, is not created. You actually did not create it. You're only perceiving it. You're perceiving a projection. It does not need to be rejected, it needs to be embraced. You could say the self that you made, the individual self, is sort of like a receptacle for your love or condemnation. If you condemn it, it acts condemned. It's all up to you. It acts condemned. And it manifests people and situations to seem condemning toward it. When you embrace it, it extends love. And then it manifests sweetness. Okay. It's fun. You know, I'll get perceptions sometimes of people being bitchy or catty toward me. You know, uh, sometimes women seem to act that way, kind of like bitchy or catty toward me. You know what? I just don't play into that. So over time, if they're experiencing me over time, they just automatically turn and they become more loving. They can't help it. The only way for them to keep the cattiness, if they want to keep the cattiness about me, is to just stay away from me so they can keep on running those stories without me interfering. without me interfering with my expression. And here's the thing about I don't buy into it. What it means is I don't give it any meaning. It's my perception, so it must be my projection. All I do is extend love. I don't try to get one up on anybody, right? That is the last thing from my mind. Like I'm going to try to one up a person. That's how people get into these things. It's kind of like a competition. Like, no, I just let them have whatever interpretation they want to have, not try to change it, but also not join in that kind of thing. Try to join in that projecting thing as if there's some kind of a competition here. And, you know, that allows me to speak whatever the Holy Spirit would have me speak because I'm not afraid of anyone's cattiness either. I like to play with it. I think it's fun, actually. It's like, let's see what's going to happen here. Probably this person really wants to connect with me. And, the other thing is I don't intentionally try to get in their space either. That's something I learned many years ago, having a person acting like that toward me and getting a sense like I need to change their mind. So what do? I book their retreat. So I'm like, I'm sure if they're around me, I need them to like me. Next thing you know, I can't even stay at the retreat. I'm just barfing like crazy. That taught me something. Oh, it was many years ago. I was like, oh, what a relief. I don't have to chase anyone. Where did I even get that idea that it was good for me to have that chick around anyways? How would I fucking know? Glad I moved past that. That was probably like 15 years ago or something, way before A Course in Miracles for me. I thought I had a mission back then, 15 years ago. I thought I had a mission where I was going to help everyone. And what I perceived was mostly most people were annoyed by it. No one even wanted any of the action, right? So over time, I just kept on learning, okay, it's not like that. I don't have to get anyone to see. I don't have to change anyone's mind. Really, I just have to be it because I'm really only demonstrating it to my own mind anyways. And showing by my example that there's another way to be, there's another way to see things, but not by trying to be that example. Often I'll check in and just ask, show me how I could be helpful. And it's funny when it comes to praying and talking to someone like that, it's like, I know it's only me. I know there's not anyone else. I mean, even Jesus is in me. Jesus, God, all the angels, everyone, I know it's all in me. So when I'm asking, show me how to be the most helpful, you could say I'm asking my highest self is one way of saying it. I know this sounds weird, but let's say it's the part of self without any ego and the part of self that knows itself as union. So it's kind of like and this has been called wisdom dialogues for like 15 years. And it's coming more clear to me now why it's called wisdom dialogues. It's because there's always this dialogue going on with the self that's united with all and the imaginary self that you made. But they're really one self. They're really one self. There's nowhere to go. There is only one self. So letting this dialogue and letting this arise within you too, letting this constant dialogue that's going back and forth rather than the dialogue of the ego. Look at what the dialogue, I guess you would call it a monologue, I don't know, of the ego that's constantly talking about your life, narrating things, having hopes and dreams and ideas about what to do, when to do them, things like that. See, being carefree in spirit, you can probably imagine this. It's like you just allow the spirit to let you know what needs to be done at any time and putting all your cares on the spirit. It's in that moment. And you know, the spirit doesn't tell you what to do either. So let's have a caveat there because the spirit doesn't specifically tell you what to specifically do. There's just there's one thing that feels the most joyful, that feels like your peace is not being disturbed in that moment. And don't worry, those things that you seem to have to do that seem to disturb your peace. Let's say you have an email to do to someone where you're apologizing to them for something or whatever your story is. Wait for the spirit to give you the signal. The signal is peace. The signal is just peace. It's like, oh, it feels peaceful now. You don't have to push energetically. See, it's not talking, we're really not talking about things on the external world. We're really talking about where the mind is at. Is the mind looking at things? Is your mind looking at things as if they're separate from you and you have to do them? Then your mind can use some redirection so you could be more at peace. Because when it seems like you have things that you have to take care of, that spirit's not just going to do for you. That's what people tell me. Oh, the spirit's just not going to do that stuff. It's like the spirit does everything for you. What the fuck are you talking about? The spirit has never not done everything. There's no other doer. It's all spirit. So when you're aware that it's all spirit, then you don't have to imagine that you have things to do. It's like, oh, you could be more curious. You could be more like a child, carefree. Let's see how spirit takes care of this one. Of course, it seems like you're doing the things. It's an illusion. That's how it is. Of course, it's going to seem like you're actually doing things. But you know what? It's totally different when you do it knowing that the spirit is doing it and you're not doing it. When it seems like you're doing it on your own, you're actually having a certain kind of energy that's projecting what you don't want to project into the world. You're projecting an idea that you're separate. You're projecting that you have things to do. And you're actually making it so that other people can be thinking in the same way. Like whatever thought you're projecting, you're strengthening for the all. You're actually strengthening it for the all. So you want to strengthen the thoughts of truth. That's what you really want to do. These thoughts cannot come from the ego. They're not programmed thoughts. You want to strengthen the thoughts of truth, the thoughts that say that I am not a doer, I'm a being. You guys have probably seen that on Facebook before. It's so cliche. You're not a human doing, you're a human being. Well, you're not even a human being. That is not true at all. A human being, when you say a human being, it seems like you're saying your mind is in your body, but your mind is not in your body. Your body and the whole world is in your mind. With the thought of separation in your mind, there's only, all you could perceive is this world or the void, which is apparently really scary. I apparently went there before. Yeah. I was like, get me back to the illusion fast. Fuck this place. Oh, fuck this void. Oh, Jesus. Yeah. It was like, there's this choice. You can either stay here in the void and be nothing, be totally nothing, at least in your imagination, or you can go into this spinning world and be something. But even the void is just a gap that you made up with the thought of separation. And there's no way you can do anything in the void either. As far as, well, now I'm probably confusing you because I'm saying, there's something for you to do here. It's not stuff in the world. It's not things in the world. The things in the world, they're playing out like a ticker tape. It's like a movie that you're watching. But the doing that you do is you extend truth through your relationships. Okay? So you can only do that when you're not in the void. You see that? You can only do it while you're relating with form. So it's important that you relate with form. Don't worry, you don't have to do anything about this. You don't have to go out more, nothing like that, because you're constantly relating with form as you're perceiving. So it's important that you're relating with form because through that relating, that's where you see that there is no separation. That's where you see your wholeness. That's where you see your innocence. And that's where you help literally millions, maybe billions of other people see too. So that's why there's a choice for a world with all these different roles and things. And when you see that that's what the roles are for, then you're not taking them so seriously. Nothing is a big deal. Nothing is, oh no, I wish that didn't happen. Everything that happens is perfect because it's not really happening. It's only unfolding so that we can see. So I'm open for uh, more of those live-in transformational bridging whatever those are. They're so fun. Because whenever anyone gets it, what I'm sharing with them, whenever someone gets what I'm sharing with them, I definitely get it deeper. Teaching is learning. It's always the same. It's always like that. And I was talking with my friend Billy yesterday, and he was telling me that he has a really nice camper for hunting and camping. He's got a Mercedes-Benz camper, apparently. And he heard my wisdom dialogues that I did a couple weeks ago where I was talking about camping. And he says, I got you covered. I got you luxury camping. And I'm like, cool. Anywhere I go with anyone, wherever I go with anyone, it's going to be like this. It's going to be like some transformational shit because I'm not relating for the purpose people are relating for. I don't have anything to attain. I don't have any kind of goal. I'm just strictly, I've given my body strictly over to being a bridge, just being a bridge for this mind to find its way back to sanity. That's all it's really valuable to me for. So, uh, sure, Mercedes-Benz, camping, that's fine with me. Wherever it could take place, wherever it could unfold. Also, if you want to check it out, you can go over to my website. It's at hopejohnson.org. It's one of the services that I offer. Um, yeah, let me know. Also, there's a price on there, but I do it by donation, so everything's negotiable. You just ask me. It's, if I'm available, then I'll go. If I'm available, let's say if I'm available, and the Holy Spirit is calling me to do it, that's gonna make me available. Yeah. I know that if I just share closely, that's the other thing too. I know that if I just share closely, even with one person, it makes huge changes. Now my host has a different point of view. as he's going around and meeting people and interacting with everyone, that just keeps on rippling. It keeps rippling more and more. People see more peace, people see more freedom, and realize, oh, I can have that too. I don't have to keep playing small like this. I don't have to keep playing like I'm vulnerable, like I'm guilty, like I know what to do. Just go back to, I don't know what any of this shit means. That's why I'm just going to listen to the Holy Spirit on what to do. I'm going to listen to the Holy Spirit on what to say, right? So sometimes there's an idea that there's a deadline of some sort. So maybe you put something on your calendar, right? That's also programmed. It's not saying it's bad to put things on your calendar. And notice how it always gets taken to the external. It's like, yeah, but look, I need to put this on my calendar. I'm like, that's not even relevant to what we're talking about right now. That can go on your calendar. This truth is true, still the truth. This is a dream. It's a dream calendar. It's a dream obligation. Another thing people like to get into is agreement with each other. Fuck that. Agreements that you make in the world, you don't think they're taken care of by spirit? They're totally taken care of by spirit. You don't have anything to do about that. Irrespective of any agreement that you made with any human, the true agreement is your agreement to be listening for the guidance in the moment. You're totally breaking your agreement and being irresponsible when you allow thinking against yourself to go unchecked. When you allow any delusional thoughts to go unchecked, that is breaking your agreement. Look at it that way. Instead of breaking your agreement with people, that doesn't mean anything. It's actually a show. So just like the Holy Spirit can take care of all the things, the minutia, one part in A Course in Miracles called it minutia. I think the cameo is called, I'm not sure what it's called. It has something to do with using the higher shopping service. Jesus was talking to Helen and Bill about using the higher shopping service to find a certain coat that Helen wanted. Jesus was saying she wasted too much of her energy looking for that coat when the Holy Spirit could just bring it to her. And the reason Jesus is telling her that is because he wants all of our minds available and not caught up with the minutia, meaning the things that we seem to have to do in the world. So just seeing if we can release more and more of this minutia, the apparent things we need to do in the world, to the spirit. This would mean writing something down on a calendar or something like that is not a problem. It's the way you think about it and ruminate about things over and over and over again. Okay, what am I doing tomorrow? Again and again and again. Okay, okay, I'm going to get back on my diet. I'm going to get back on my exercise program, that kind of talk, right? I grew up with that kind of talk. My parents were doing that. It would be like Sunday night, and they just got all these cakes or candy bars or whatever, and they're just scarfing out. And the way they're eating too, I'm watching them eat, and they're getting no joy out of it at all. Right? I'm like a little kid and going, what the fuck is wrong with these people? They're just like scarfing some shit down, and they're talking about starting their diet in the morning. Right? I think this is still a thing for people. I'm not sure. But one thing that taught me is I don't have to have any kind of concern about stuff like that. You know, uh, my host asked me, do you ever cut back? Like on eating? Do you ever cut back? And I go, it's just naturally cutting back and then ramping up all the time. I'm not in charge of that. It could be on a daily cycle, or, one day I might not eat that much in the morning and more in the evening, or flip it around a different way. It's always just in the moment, what feels at ease, what feels at peace. This also means not tempting the ego. Let's say you have this strong belief, and you have a strong belief if you seem to be gluten intolerant. Okay, that you got this strong belief that bread's bad for you, gluten's bad for you. That means you don't need to tempt the ego. It's not you like you specifically think about, I'm going to eat some bread and prove whatever. It's not like that. It's what's the most peaceful. You don't have anything to prove through your eating. It's what's ever the most peaceful and joyful for you. And that's one of the things that I was sharing and extending with my host over here. Just noticing the way he was eating. And I was saying, the way you're eating, it just doesn't look that good. It doesn't look that fun. Oh, why? Oh, well, it seems very conceptual, like you're getting your macros right now. And also low fat. What's the deal with low fat? Right? What's the deal? That's from the 80s or something, where they told us to eat low fat. I think it was a psyop. It's like, eat like this and you won't get fat. And then it's like the opposite. So I go, hey, how about if you do this? How about, okay, you gotta, let's see, you got no fat in this meal. I'm looking at, let's say, for instance, a chicken breast, a dry ass chicken breast, and then there's maybe a salad. That people love that one. The chicken, that's not so to me, but still, yeah. One thing I just like go, hey, what about eating dark meat chicken? And it's kind of like, what? Oh, that's a thing, right? Because it's like we got programmed especially if you're around in the 80s, to eat all white meat, right? And it's like devoid of fat, right? And I'm like, yeah, how about like you eat? He's like, oh, I can do that. Oh, he's like, dang, this is just like, it feels like almost like a kid, like getting permission to eat some stuff that's like when you're eating, you're like, that's how I like to eat. Mmm. Ah. That's how you know you're absorbing some nutrients really well. It's like when you're eating conceptually, something that you're not having an experience, you're not having like a juicy, salivating experience with. You're having a mental, conceptual experience with your food. It sucks. And it's meant to be like that. Okay, so it's meant to glorify the ego. The ego knows how much you should eat. Okay, check. I did that much protein. I did that much fat. I ate this much vegetables. Okay, I've been a good boy. I could sleep without flogging myself tonight. I don't have to beat myself up. Whew. At one point, it's like the end of the week, right? It's like the end of the week, and there's this idea that to have a good week, it means this much time spent at the gym and this much time doing this other thing. And so it's the weekend, it's Saturday, and I hear, okay, I did all my workouts. It's like almost like you have permission to rest because you did all of your workouts. I go, loosen that shit up. Loosen that. That's something that is right to get loosened up. That needs to be unraveled. Let me see what I'm using here to make myself small, and also giving myself a very monotonous fucking lifestyle here. I'm not going to feel okay unless I do these things that take up my whole fucking week. And then on Saturday, I could be like, ah, I've accomplished so much. There's nothing to be accomplishing. There's nothing. There's actually nothing. What you want to do is get into the juicy groove. It's a juicy groove. The spirit, the self who's united with all feels like peace, a really juicy flow. That's not attacked by anything. It's not threatened by anything. It's just this willingness to enjoy. You can enjoy when you're caught up with concepts that tell you what enjoyment means. It's like something for later to the ego. Joy is always something in the future to the ego. That's how it stays empowered. And it's funny because when I'm sharing something like this um, with someone in close relationship, it's kind of like, are you sure I'm going to be okay? Like, are you sure? And I go, you can't go wrong listening to the spirit. And, from my point of view, I just go, I'm not going to mind whatever seems to appear about my body. Because I'm not attributing anymore. This is what I want to get out of. At the time, it was like, this is what I want to get out of. I want to get out of attributing any kind of effects to food. I want to stop attributing that because everyone's doing that. They're talking about eating cake makes you fat. Oh, you ate that much, you're gonna die of diabetes or something like that. I just said, I'm not gonna care what occurs to the form. And I'm just going to do this experiment. Life is like this. It's good for experiments. I'm going to do this experiment. I'm going to eat as guided by the Holy Spirit. And I'm not going to give any weight to thoughts that tell me that I'm being affected by the food, good or bad. I spent a lot of my life doing that because of the way I grew up, which, I shared with you more recently or earlier about how my family would go on diets, my parents, right? So I had this mindset about food like I was going to figure it out. I was going to make sure I ate everything that I was supposed to eat. And you know what? The funny thing is, I could do the experiment perfect because I have ridiculous willpower. Right? So I could really do the experiment. I'm not the chick at the end going, man, if I only would have eaten a little bit more protein and less fat or something like that. I'm not, that chick at the end. No, I did it. I'm like, I've done it. Uh, exactly perfect. I didn't even fucking miss one thing. So I'd experiment like that and notice none of it worked. None of it really works. Only thing that works is listening to the spirit. That's the only thing that actually works. Seem to have a really a really great body right now. And I didn't do anything.
Hundreds of hours of blocking.
Oh yeah. Hundreds of hours of blocking. She's saying hundreds of hours of blocking. Yeah, that doesn't count though, because I'm still not doing anything. Hundreds of hours, probably thousands of hours of block therapy. Yeah, it's been 3.5 years, and I've been doing probably on average, if I average it all out, about 3 hours a day, every day for 3.5 years. I freaking love it. I love getting these releases. It's fucking amazing. And it's like the Holy Spirit knows I love it, and it's just like always a yes. And like I said before, the Holy Spirit isn't telling you specifically what to do. When you're asking the Holy Spirit to help you see, it's like The Holy Spirit just helps you see what is the best reflection of being at peace and joy and joy. A Zoom user said hundreds of hours of laughter. Yes, there's that too. Yes, that's good for it too. Yeah, just giving it to the Holy Spirit to take care of, right? And when I was in Mexico, there was a sense like, oh my God, I might not have my blocks for a few days because I was having someone make blocks in Mexico. And I go, oh my God, I noticed the most attachment to those blocks, more attachment to those blocks than I even noticed to any person. Even the person that I seem to be in love with right now, I would say, fuck that guy, give me my blocks. So, so I just did a little forgiveness around that, knowing that the Holy Spirit will make sure I have my blocks if I need them. All right, Etta May, you're on.
Hello.
Aloha.
Hey, so this conversation about food, one of my I love coffee.
Yeah.
And I know it's not I can't do it all the time. Like I'm like a sporadic coffee drinker.
Why can't you
But
do it all the time? Why
well,
can't
here's
you?
the thing. If I do it for like a week or two, if I
Yeah.
get into it,
Uh-huh.
actually it could be any caffeine, matcha, tea, green tea, anything with
Okay.
caffeine.
Okay.
I will get a killer headache that will last for about 20 hours.
Okay, if you do it too much.
If I do it and then I get off, like if I do it and then I have a day where I don't do it.
Okay.
Oh, it's the worst. And so anyway,
Okay.
I would love to be able to like occasionally do that, but then it throws me off. Like physically, I just don't feel well when I don't do it. And
Okay.
so I get off of it for a long time. And my husband drinks coffee every morning in my kitchen. And so on the weekends, I'm like, ooh, I'm going to have a cup of coffee. And then it starts a little pattern sometimes.
Uh-huh.
And then I'm like, oh, I can't stop drinking coffee today because I can't have a headache today. Like all this.
Okay, so these are just ego thoughts. It's not what it seems. So
Mhm.
if you want to work with this, this is a
Mhm.
perfect thing. This is a perfect thing to work with because you believe I could tell that you believe that this coffee is doing this. Like it has to do with the coffee at all.
Yes. See, that's what I'm hearing from you. Like,
Yeah.
this is,
Yeah.
it's not, the coffee's not giving me the headache, is what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, yeah. You
Mhm.
see, you are automatically because of the way the circumstances are set up, you're
Mhm.
automatically believing what you're seeing. But remember that perception is projection. You already wanted to see that something had an effect on you. So now you're believing it, you're believing the projection. See? So now you just disbelieve the projection. The all of the evidence is saying that this is what coffee does to you. You deny that that evidence is one bit true. That's all you have to do. Because
Mhm.
even the story on whether you drink coffee, even the thought that occurs to you, and here's where you could work it too. Notice the thought occurs to you, coffee sounds good right now. And then you get another thought telling you, oh no, don't drink coffee. You know what it does to you. Okay. And then you just go, Holy Spirit, show me what to do and go with the ease. It could be either
Mhm.
way. You could be drinking
Mhm.
coffee, you could be not drinking coffee. But the main thing is, whenever you do get the effects, the seeming effects of coffee, you recognize that you're projecting your effects right now. They're not caused by coffee. Okay. Now I find myself like when I was in Mexico, I didn't I didn't find myself drinking coffee every day. I didn't feel to make it. I didn't. Same thing with spliffs. It's just like I don't even go out and get the components for it, It's like oh, no need. So I would go out just about every day, not every day, and I wouldn't notice if I didn't do it, but maybe around 12, 1 o'clock, go get a cappuccino from a cute little cafe, right? And then I came over here and my host is drinking coffee every day. And I'm like, okay, I'll just do that for now. So I'll just like change depending on whatever it is that's the most uh, uplifting. Let's say peaceful, right? And so I train my mind to see I'm just doing whatever's the most peaceful, and um, anything that arises like any kind of effect, I would deny any reality to that. I wouldn't make anything have an effect on me, just in my mind. Do you see that? Is that pretty easy to do?
Yeah, this is the part that I have a hard time with
What?
the Course in Miracles. Just
Okay.
like just the physical reality part,
Yeah.
and that it's an illusion. Like I'm just like,
Yeah.
well, it's because time and again I experience the same thing, and it's just like I don't know. That's the part. That's like one of my little parts that I struggle with.
Yeah. Well, that's very common for people, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because it seems like the effects are the effects. It's
Mm-hmm.
just, and this is and because this is up for you too, this is a huge transformation being offered to you right here. This is like really huge
Mm-hmm.
for you to recognize that these things are only having seeming effects. It's your mind making the effects.
Mm-hmm.
This unhooks you from victimhood of all kinds.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. I want to learn this. And
Hmm.
and so I have an opportunity right now.
Yeah,
Because I
you
had
do.
coffee. I had tomorrow. I would love not to have coffee, but I can't get a headache tomorrow, right? So this is all like I'm just wrapped up in it and I see it and I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so all those thoughts are meaningless. Yeah, you're just
Yeah.
all you're going to do is listen to the Holy Spirit and see what's most peaceful in the moment.
I love it.
Isn't that easy?
Yeah, it is. You make it so easy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you don't have to figure it out at all. Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
I had to make it easy for myself because it's like I have to do this. I have
Hmm.
to do this. It was just like it was given me. There's no other more peaceful thing I can do than this. This is what I have to do. So I just start applying it to everything, and I even apply it to things like cold, like when I'm feeling cold, right? Which is kind of common for me. But that's an illusion I'm also going to see through at some point because I'm on it.
Hmm.
Right? I'm not mentally blaming the weather for making me cold. I am the fucking weather and the cold. Right? So
Hmm.
it's retraining your mind to see what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Because we're not seeing what's actually happening. We're seeing an effect of what we wanted to believe about ourselves, which was that we're separate and we're vulnerable to things. And that's not going to say I'm not going to get help if I'm cold. That's going to be automatic. Like I'm like, holy shit, I need to go get something warmer on. Right? I'm going to find myself just having that thought and probably walking over to my house or wherever I'm staying. Get something warmer on to be comfortable and juicy and warm. It's just that I'm not blaming the weather for making me cold because I'm aware that I make the weather and the cold.
Hmm.
See?
I like it.
I like
Thank
it
you.
too. I love you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Yay. Yes, hundreds of hours of laughter, orgasmic laughter. That's the thing. It's like the spirit is super sensual. And that's what comes through form. And it can include all of your movements, everything. Going to the bank, right? Not something I find myself doing very often, but I know some of you do this. What else? Going grocery shopping, contacting technical support. All of it can be super juicy. There's no need for this drudging. Watch your posture. Notice how you're walking around. You don't need to trudge around, right? I'll notice my posture sometimes first thing in the morning, just the way I'm walking out of my bed, and I'll let myself have the juicy posture, just like an upright, because what the ego wants to do is kind of like get out of bed in a weird way. It wants to like crunch your shoulders over and get your arms behind you in a weird way. And I start noticing that. And I go, I'm not walking around my house like that just because no one's here. I'm not walking around like an ego that's got a bunch of things to do that no one cares about and has got to count up all its macronutrients and make sure it gets its day worth of food. Make sure it gets the day worth of food right. The ego sense of productivity. The ego sense of productivity is it goes over all the shit you've done today, the worldly shit that you've done, and count that as productivity. It's not productivity. It's nothing. It's not bad. It's not good. It's just nothing. It was the form. It was the means through which love extends through you. That's what all of that apparent productivity was for, so that love could extend through you. And that's truly what's productive. And you can feel totally at ease going to bed every night because you've been 100% productive. Your apparent life is how God experiences, and how this whole thing unwinds, and how everyone comes back to the truth. You're 100% productive every day just by experiencing. You don't need to do anything else. That's even if you don't bring your illusions to truth. That's if you don't forgive. That's if you don't perceive yourself extending love. Because see, here's the thing. You're not even capable of not extending love. The whole time you're experiencing, you're always extending love. There's nothing but that. It's just that, do you extend love into your dream? If you do that, then you're at peace. See? So you're 100% productive no matter what. Are you actually resting in peace? Thank you, Alexia. I love that. Are you actually resting in peace? That's letting you know whether your seeing needs to be corrected, but that doesn't make you any less productive. There's really no measure about it. So this is a really fun mind practice too. Notice when you are going to bed at night, what's going on with your mind? Is it going over your day to see where you've been productive? That's okay. You don't need to push those thoughts away. Just recognize those thoughts are meaningless thoughts. Those thoughts are irrelevant. Kind of like what Ed May was talking about with these thoughts that say, I don't want to drink coffee tomorrow, but if I don't drink coffee, I'm going to get a headache. Those are meaningless thoughts. Leave it up to the Holy Spirit in the moment. And deny all effects. Nothing can harm you. Nothing can even make any changes to you. So funny. So, in Mexico and also here in Sedona, I've been experimenting with laser services. That's where they use a laser to address skin, wrinkles, stretch marks, birthmarks, freckles, all kinds of different things like that. So I've been playing around with that stuff. It's fascinating because the woman who does the laser is partners with this man who knows quantum physics really well. And he's telling her, okay, these lasers have certain frequencies, but he can also see that no thing can affect another thing. Only love affects anything. So he shares that with his partner, who is the woman who owns this. I think she owns it. I don't know. Maybe it's a franchise. It's called Laser Girl. Laser Girl. It's like a superhero thing. Um, so she knows, we're having a conversation about this. So she knows that technically the laser's not doing anything to your skin. It's not doing anything to anyone. Nothing has any effects. And when you're looking at it in terms of laser, in one of them, I got something done where it was like Christmas lights. Like there's there's red and blue lights kind of like twirling around my skin and doesn't feel like anything. It's like nothing. And that's interesting because that's how everything is. It's really not doing anything. With lasers, it seems like it's more obvious that this isn't really doing what it seems to be doing. It's actually the intention. It's actually the focused attention. And so her partner tells her it's only love that changes these appearances, even the appearance of the skin. So he tells her, be kind to them, connect with them. Um, and that's what helps. And that's really the truth. There's nothing that can make you sick or energized. There's nothing that can make you more beautiful or more ugly. And one thing I noticed too, if I put any kind of reality into the laser treatments that I get, then that same reality also goes over to the spliffs. See? So then it's like that thing is good for me and that other thing is bad for me. One thing is really aging. And in fact, if you ask AI about smoking, specifically tobacco and weed, it's like the most aging thing you can do. So I'm looking at that and I'm laughing about it because I'm going, oh my goodness, we just cannot be giving reality, we cannot be giving cause to anything to be able to affect our body. That's what Jesus was talking about, how giving cause to anything to affect the body is what's killing bodies. Because you automatically, if you make something healthy or if you make something good for you, you automatically project that the other thing is bad for you. So, in recognizing that your mind is holding them all up, and there's not some kind of balance that you need to strike either. Okay, if I do this much good stuff, then I could do this much bad stuff. It's not like that either. It's just a matter of recognizing that illusions cannot affect what is true. We can use them as permission slips. We can use these things as permission slips. Like you can go, okay, I'm going to engage in this laser to make my skin more firm, let's say. But I know I'm only using it as a permission slip, right? And then when you're engaged in something like smoking, you don't have any intention for it to make you aged, let's say. It's like, I'm using this smoke right now to tune into the spirit, right? I'm just using it to tune into the spirit. You don't have to use it for being bad for you or hating it, or I know I shouldn't be doing this. That's not a very juicy way to be smoking. Now, you want to do your smoking in a really juicy way. Just do everything like that, right? Stop making up a purpose like, oh, this is really bad for me. All you're doing is giving yourself permission slips. Why would you give yourself a permission slip to make something bad for you? That doesn't make any sense. See that? So I don't intentionally try to eat canola oil or vegetable oils, right? I don't intentionally try to do that. I don't go buy it. I don't put it in my house. Um, but if I seem to eat it, I seem to be out somewhere and they cook their stuff in corn oil. Usually that's how they do it. And I seem to be eating something, I do not give it effects. That's the difference between what I do and my mom and dad did when I was a kid. They would give strong effects to a candy bar to the point where if they ate one candy bar, they would need to eat 10 of them. They would feel like they need to eat 10 of them now so that they could start something the next day where they reject candy bars. I don't have any way of I don't have any rule of rejecting anything. I could find myself eating anything and I don't feel guilty about it. That's the difference from how it was when I grew up. For many years, I would go over at night. Now, you know, you guys might go over if you're being productive. I would go over what I ate and see if it was, if I did okay this day. And I would try to have more days where I did good and didn't mess it up. But from practicing this for many years, it's not even a thought. My friend asked me if I cut back. I was like, I don't even have that concept at all. I don't get the sense. I don't even hear the thought that says I need to cut back on something because it just doesn't make any sense. I eat as much as it's juicy to me, right? So I can't go wrong. And whatever the body seems to do, uh, uh, seemingly caused by that, it cannot be caused by that, but whatever the body seems to do, I'm going to be in acceptance of it. I'm not going to stop listening to the spirit so I could try to save my body. What would I be saving it for if you're not listening to the spirit? Right? The reason for listening to the spirit until you're aware that you just are the spirit. The reason for listening to the spirit is you could be at peace, you could be at ease. So the idea of taking care of my eating apart from spirit really makes no sense if it means being in dis-ease. See, the kind of ease the ego puts out for you is this ease of thinking that you know how to do it and that you did it right. That is not true ease. Look how threatened it is. Tomorrow you got another day to fuck it up. And you will eventually. That is not the kind of ease that's worthy of you. The kind of ease that's worthy of you is the kind of ease that you get when you just listen to the Holy Spirit's guidance. You'll do this for a while until you just realize, oh my goodness, I am all that is. I am all of it. All I really need to do is go with my ease, go with my juiciness. It just, everything works out beautifully. When I go to a restaurant, I'll look at the menu and I'll just see what seems to make my mouth water the most. Isn't that nice? I'm not looking at the calories. I'm not looking at what it's even cooked in. I don't care. It's whatever makes my mouth water the most. Well, sometimes I do care. When it's fried food, I usually ask them, what oil are you using? And then I'll just notice I'll probably usually eat much less of that. It's just automatic. I don't have a judgment about it or anything. Even the thought to ask them, what oil is it in? I just let that unfold. Any of my preferences, I just let any of that unfold. It's like, oh, well, if you had told me you made it in lard, I would have been eating the shit out of it. So no, not really. I just eat until it tastes amazing, you know, and then it goes, down, it goes, it'll go up to this really, so juicy. And then it'll get to the point where it's not that juicy. And then you just ease off of it. Maybe start taking smaller bites. Simple, joyful eating. Someone told me that they would love it if I did a workshop here in Sedona to help people eat joyfully. So I have 3 weeks left. We'll see if that unfolds. But it would be really nice for people, I know, to have that pressure off, because what people seem to do is either, and I've done it myself, that's why I know, is either go, okay, I'm on a strict diet, or I'm just cheating. So you can let yourself off the hook from either one of those by being in the middle path, which is I'm just listening to the spirit and having a really juicy good time, saliva flowing, beautiful experience with my food. I also I don't have any issue with fasting because I don't have any idea about when I should eat or how long I should go without eating or anything like that. I could just tell when it's time to. That's just what feels the best. So, I might find myself in a car on a trip and the only place to stop is 7-Eleven. And then it'll be like, do I feel like eating anything? Do I want to eat that? Does that feel good? And just feel into it. Let yourself feel. Like I'll go into the 7-Eleven and the Circle K and I'll look at the things that they have and I'll get a sense. How does that feel? How does that feel? How does that feel? What I'll normally usually find myself doing is just walking out of there without eating anything and just kind of like, I'll just wait until something that feels really awesome comes up. Right? And that's not a rule. It could be that one day it could be like, oh yeah, I'm having Circle K nachos today. Do they make nachos? I don't know. 7-Eleven definitely does. But it might be like, okay, this is what I'm doing. I'm having, and it's going to be amazing. That's the thing. The whole experience of eating those nachos, even if it seems to come from 7-Eleven or whatever, is going to be deep. It's going to be beautiful. It's not going to be a guilty thing where I'm hogging down a bunch of food. Each bite is going to be met with joy. It's going to be infused with enjoyment. Yay. All right, you guys. Thank you for joining. I love you. Please let me know if you have any questions right now. I'm winding down. I got about 8 minutes left. So I'll be back on Wednesday with ACIM, A Course in Miracles deep dive. We are just moving along the book, through the book, chapter 2. We're in chapter 2 right now. It gets really deep. I like to get deep with those concepts so we could see exactly what Jesus is saying, because the ego likes to twist these concepts around and make it so that we can change what he's saying. So I like to get that really clear because the clarity helps you to see how to train your mind. This is mind training. See the different tips I give you about, okay, here's where you could put it in. You could always ask me questions like that. Like, I've got this thing going on and it seems like I'm hooked into this particular pattern. What would you do in this situation? How would you train your mind in this situation? Feel free to ask me anything like that. I'm available for it. And people ask me stuff like that all the time. Like, how do I just see this differently? How do I see, for instance, the situation where it seems like I don't have enough money? That is the one that goes on all the time. Enough money for what? What do you want enough money for? Oh, I want to do this thing. I want to have a big house. I want to do trips and stuff like that. Okay, so what did you actually come into this dream for? What did you come here for? Did you come here to get a big house? Did you come here to... No, I don't think I really came here for that stuff, but it would sure just make it nice. Right? Sure, just make the dream nice. Okay, so we make the dream nice right now. Really, right now. It seems like to the ego, this isn't going to give me what I want. But what you want is peace. So we make it nice right now. The sweetest thing, the most peaceful thing is to be without want. Really, to be without want. That doesn't mean having all of your apparent wants in the world given to you. Being without want is being the fulfillment of desire, not just the desire. You're the desire, you're also the fulfillment of desire. So to be the fulfillment of desire is right now. Desire's only arising out of desire to know your wholeness. That's the desire. So you be the fulfillment of that desire in this moment where you're focused only on knowing your wholeness. It's as if, from the ego's perspective, getting that house, getting that vacation is going to let you know your wholeness. But if you really look at it from right here and go, will I know my wholeness, or will there just be another want? Will it just lead to yet another want? Well, I don't want anything when I'm knowing that I'm the desire and the fulfillment. The fulfillment is now, it's not in the future. Even just having a desire for something in the world, it's not for something in the world, it's for wholeness. It's a trick, as if it's in the world. It's a trick. Nothing and everything cannot exist together. Thank you, Glenn. I love how you pay attention to those ACIM deep dives. That's great. That's exactly what we were talking about. Nothing and everything cannot exist together. So when we're talking about abundance, if you believe that you do want something in the world, that's settling for nothing. When you recognize that that want actually came from wanting wholeness and that you are the fulfillment of that desire right now, just by recognizing that that want is an illusion, that's how you're fulfilling your desire. You're recognizing that that want is actually a trick telling you that you want this over here because you really want wholeness, which only you can fulfill right now. See that? Isn't that fun? Yay. Thank you. I love you. So I'll be back on Wednesday, as I said. And in the meantime, go to hopejohnson.org for anything Hope Johnson. I do one-to-ones over there. Also, please feel free to donate. I love it when people donate. It's such a joy for me to see that they appreciate the sharing that I'm doing, and they appreciate me just floating around being a fairy of love and light. Thank you. I really appreciate you. Anyways, it's easy to do at hopejohnson.org. Wasn't that easy for my friend the other day? If you have any issues, just ask me. It's easy for me to do. You can donate monthly if you want. Minimum is $10 per month. And when you donate to me like that, I will give you a free lifetime paid subscription to my Substack. I don't get as many, I don't get as much taken out whenever you guys donate through my website. So I encourage people, go ahead and do it like that, or you can just donate through Substack. They allow that too. So there's also my book on there, Unschooling for Parents. It's good for everyone, not just parents. It's good for everyone because we're all kind of like parents of the world we perceive. Okay. Also, you can find out how to get with me on these YouTubes or YouTubes. You can get to YouTube too. These Zooms. You can find out how to get to my Substack. You can find out how to get to podcasts on there. This gets podcasted. So if you go to Spotify and you look up Hope Johnson Wisdom, or you look up Hope Johnson ACIM to get my daily ACIM lessons, you're going to find me on any podcast provider, Spotify or anything. You can also just play them right on my website. It's all free. What else is there that's free? Facebook, you can follow me on Facebook, Hope Johnson on Facebook. I'm from Hawaii. I think you might need to put that in. Awakening with Hope on Telegram. So that's at Awakening with Hope on Telegram. On Instagram, it's Awesome Hope Johnson. Where else am I? I don't know. But you'll find all the links on my website. So thank you. I love you too. Thank you, Wayne. Thank you, everyone. Oh, and I'm going to be on a radio show with Wayne next month. He's got a radio show going in Hawaii, and I'm planning on joining him, I believe, for 2 Sundays next month. So that'll be fun. I'll keep you guys posted. I love you. Mahalo, aloha, and a hui ho. Yay.